The Kika virtual keyboard that came with the Titan 2 works well as it is. There's a suggestions bar, common punctuations, and you have access to numbers and symbols on other pages. I personally like to have a persistent numbers row and easy access to frequent punctuations without having to use the hard modifier keys. I also miss the swipe left to delete whole words from the BlackBerry keyboard. The Keyboard Designer app lets you custom design your own keyboard layout, and I was able to create a virtual keyboard layout for my own use on the Titan 2. Keep in mind, if you choose to use the Keyboard Designer as your input choice, you will lose some typing assist functions. That means no double space for a period or auto caps for the first word. Double pressing the Shift key for caps lock does work, and so does double pressing Alt key to lock it, but it has no Sim key functionality. For my design, I have a persistent number and punctuation row. I also have the ability to swipe left to delete whole words using the virtual keys. I also added a swipe right for a period and space, and a key to activate the Google Voice typing trigger. This is basically what you type is what you get, as I did not include the word suggestion strip, and I actually like it this way. You could include it into your own design, but that's beyond the scope of this video. I'm not sponsored in any way or connected to the Keyboard Designer app or the company. It's just an app I've been using since the original UNIHERTZ Titan. Let's start by installing the app. Search for Keyboard Designer, and it's the one by Garrett Humberg. Once you open the app, you'll have to go through the intro screen. There's no way to get past this, so just bear with it. When you get to this point, it will ask you to choose the Keyboard Designer as your input method. Go ahead and do so. But once it's done, you just hit Start Designing. On this screen, you'll get another guide. I'll just hit X to close it. First, I want to point out that this guide uses two paid packages from this app. The Extended Design package, which lets me copy and paste functions for quicker editing, and that's $2.99. And I also pay for the Extended Keyboard package, which lets me activate the voice typing trigger. I think a one-time $2.99 charge for each of these packages is well worth it, especially if you're into keyboard phones. And that brings me to how this app is organized. The page I just showed you to purchase the design packages was on the info screen. And you can see the different pages on the bottom here. We'll be working with the designs page, which lets you choose how many rows of keys or the shape of the keys or color of the keys. That's in the design page. And then the keys here, you get to edit the keys, like design what character goes into which key. And if you want to resize each individual key, that's done here. And the other page is tests, where you can test your design. We'll be working primarily with these three pages. Okay, let's get started. We're going to go into the designs page and hit the plus button on top here and say you want a new design. And we're going to start with an empty design. You can see in the preview box, there's nothing there because this is an empty design. Let's go down to the name field and we're going to rename this. Type in Titan Base or whatever you want to call it. Let's hit the back key to get rid of the virtual keyboard they have as a sample display. Now under usage, we're going to select Titan Base because that's the one we're going to want to use. We only need to put this under the portrait modes, text input, number input. Then we're going to go down to landscape mode and choose the same thing. Hit OK once you're done. Now we're going to scroll down a little bit and expand the layout settings. For this design, I have the keyboard height in percent of the portrait screen to be at 15%. You can just use the minus key in there to adjust it incrementally. Be aware that the screen adjusts to the height of the keyboard on the top. So once you hit the minus, the screen will move a little bit. So don't hit it too fast. You might press the wrong portion of the screen. For the width, we want it the full width of the screen, so we're going to leave it at 100. We're also going to adjust the height in percentage of landscape to match the 15% since we have a square screen anyway. The other setting we need to change is the number of rows. We only have 2 rows. I'm going to have to do 2 rows because on the Titan 2, when the virtual keyboard shows up, you have this strip where you can minimize the virtual keyboard or change your keyboard. So this takes up space. If I don't do 2, these little icons will overlap onto the virtual keyboard. We're going to use that space for the Google Voice trigger. I'm going to skip over the key spacing in percent of key space because I want to show you how it looks like while you're adjusting it. Next, we're going to expand the color settings. Let's go into the regular key. This is how it's going to look like when the keyboard just shows up on the screen. As you can see by default, it has some blue key with some dark colored text. I'm going to design this as a black key with white text. So down on the background slider, I'm going to move everything over to the left so we get a black color. That's for the background. And you can see the sample key on top changes its color based on what you adjusted it to. Now up on top it says main function. That's the primary character. I want it white, so I'm going to move the sliders all the way to the right. For the sub function, that's like a long press. I'm going to move it all the way to the right also to match the white color of the main function. You can also choose the color and pick a color based on the chart, but I don't see a pure white one here, so you'll have to adjust the slider yourself. Next down here, I also want a border on top for my design. So I'm just going to click on top for the border. And I also want the border to be white, so I'm going to move the slider all the way to the right. And you can see again on top, that's how the key is going to look like. Hit OK once you're done. The next color setting is the color marked keys. That's the color the key changes to when you touch it to type. I'm going to change it to a white background with black text. Go into the settings screen, change the background to white, and change the main function and sub function to black. There's the background setting, and the sub function and main. I'm not going to bother with a border because this key is hardly ever going to show up. It only shows up when you touch it. It also shows up when you select the key to edit it in this program, so having it a different color helps you know which key you're editing. Hit OK once done. I'm not going to do any pop-up keys in this design, so I'm going to leave it alone. But the keyboard background, I also want it black, so I'm going to make the sliders go to the black side all the way to the left. Next, for the behavior setting, I like to have the hold duration a little bit longer than 210 milliseconds. I like it more like half a second. So I'm going to change this to 500 milliseconds. You can just use the button to incrementally increase it until it hits 500, or use the slider and then use the incremental buttons to get it precisely to what you want. Down here is a setting for a word bar. That's the word suggestion feature. I'm not going to put this into my design, so I'm going to leave it alone. Everything else is fine the way it is, so this design is done. Next is to add the keys. To get started, we're going to go into the keys page. Press this icon down here. And for this design, I'm going to have 10 keys on top and a single key on the bottom because, like I said earlier, we need to take up that space for those two functions that the Titan 2 has. We're going to start adding keys by pressing the plus button on the top. You can see the new key is highlighted in white. The way it assigns the position of the new keys is it puts one on top and then it puts one on the bottom. So we're going to have to keep pressing until there's 10 on top, and then we're going to adjust the bottom so there's only a single key. So just keep tapping until we have 10 on the top. Now we're going to delete the keys on the bottom until we just have one. To do this, we're going to hit the three dots on the top here and then choose multi-selection. This lets you highlight multiple keys to edit. You can see they're shown in white. As you can see, I have 9 highlighted and I'm going to leave 1 remaining. Hit the 3 dots and then delete. Now for that one single key, we're going to highlight it, and to make it the size and height that we want, we're going to go down to the layout and adjust it. Expand that section, and in key width in percentage, move it all the way to 100% so it fits the width of the screen. And for the height, I set mine at 55%, which is a good height for this phone. Now we're going to go back to the design page and set up the gaps between the keys. As you'll see, they're kind of wide right now. That's why when I mentioned earlier, we're going to go back and adjust it so you can see how it affects your design. So click back on the design page and find the key spacing in percentage of key space. And you can see how adjusting it changes the way it looks and how visible the borders are. I find that 96% works well here. Now it's time to populate the keys with numbers and punctuations that I want. We're going to go back to the keys page, and we're going to start with the leftmost key here. Go down to Action Press because we want to set up what this key does when we press it. For the symbol setting, this is what shows up on the key. This is not necessarily what it does. It's just what this key shows on its face. So we're going to start with a 1 here. Hit OK, and you can see by default the function is write, and it will write the symbol that you selected. You can see it says write symbol 1. For the most part, this is what we want, so we're going to hit OK to confirm. Now we continue on to the second key, and it's going to be number 2, and so on. Just continue until you reach the end, and for me, I like my 0 at the end. Now I want to set up my swipe left to delete gesture. And I want to set this up so the gesture works from the keys 0 to 6 so that when I do the gesture, I don't have to be totally accurate and hit only one key. I can hit any key within this right half of the virtual keyboard. So starting with the 0 key, we're going to go down to Action Left. Go into Action Left, and in my design for this key only, I'm going to have the delete symbol show in the sub-function position. So for the character group, click the down arrow and select control symbols. And you can see it has a symbol for erase to the left. Again, remember, this is just a symbol that appears. This is not exactly what it tells the button to do. Hit OK to confirm. Now you'll see the function, it defaulted back to writing that symbol, which is not what I want. I don't want it to write a delete symbol in my text box. So we're going to change that by going into it and choosing delete. And it defaults to one character left, but I want to delete the whole word instead. So on the options box right below the function, choose one word left. Hit OK to confirm. Now we're going to have the number 9 key do the same thing, but we don't need to have that symbol there. Otherwise the whole keyboard is going to look cluttered. So go into the 9 key and choose Action Left again. We're going to leave the symbol blank, and then for the function type, we're going to choose delete. And it remembers that my delete function is one word left, so it's there already. Hit OK to confirm. Now that this gesture is programmed into the 9 key, we're going to take advantage of the extended design package and copy this function into the clipboard. You see the copy icon there, and it's highlighted in red. That means this function is copied to the clipboard. We're going to go into the number 8 key, go down to Action Left, and you can see the paste function is active, so hit paste. Now the Action Left one word to delete is pasted to the number 8 key. Now keep in mind that you can only paste this once as the paste function is now gone. So since we want to do this for 7 and 6, we're going to have to copy it again. So hit copy, go into the 7 key and paste it into Action Left again. Repeat for the number 6 key. Now we're done with setting up the swipe left to delete on the right side of the keyboard. Next, we're going to set up the swipe right to do a period and space combination on the left half of the virtual keyboard from the 1 to 5 keys. Starting with the number 1, go down to Action Right. For the symbol to show up on the sub function, I want to put a period and an underscore to symbolize the period and space. Select the character entry box and go back and change the character group to main characters. Scroll down and find the period and scroll up and find the underscore, which they call it a low line. Hit OK to confirm. And just like always, it defaults to writing the period and the underscore, which is not what I want. So deselect the output that says right symbol, go into the entry box and delete the low line or underscore, and you can just push the spacebar to enter a space. Hit OK to confirm. Now the output, when you do a swipe right, will be a period and space. Now we're going to do the same for the number 2 key. And just like the other gesture to delete, I don't need to have the sub-function character show on the key. I just need it to work as a gesture. Go into Action Right, leave the symbol box empty. Go down to Function and choose Right. And for the output, you can just simply put it in with the physical keyboard. Go into the entry box, hit Alt-B, and then space. It will capture that entry. Hit OK to confirm. Hit OK again to confirm that. Now to complete this for 3, 4, and 5, we can again take advantage of the extended design package and copy and paste those functions just like we did earlier. Copy the function, select number 3, paste the function. Copy it again, hit number 4 key, paste again. Copy again, hit number 5, paste again. Now the gesture is complete. Next, I want to do something with this space here on the bottom that's a single button made to accommodate the keyboard minimization and keyboard changer icon that the Titan 2 has. I want to make it so that it can also detect the swipe left and swipe right gesture that I programmed into the other keys, and also implement a hold to trigger the Google Voice typing function. So with the key selected, we're going to go into the Action Right. We're going to leave the symbol key alone because we don't need to have anything displayed there. For the function type, we're going to put right. And output, I'm going to go into the input box and put in period and space with the physical keyboard again, just like the rest of the keys I did earlier. Hit OK to confirm. OK to confirm again. Now I'm going to program Action Left. Again, I can leave the symbol key alone, go to function type, and choose delete. It remembers is one word left. Hit OK to confirm. Now I want to program in the hold to trigger the voice typing. And I also wanted to say voice on the key so that I know what it's for. But that large font will only show up as a main function. So I'm going to go into Action Press, go into the symbol, and I'm simply going to type in all caps, voice. Hit OK to confirm. And for the function type, I'm going to choose none because I just want that to show there in the large font. I don't want it to do anything as a single press. Hit OK to confirm. Now I'm going to go into Action Hold. I'm going to leave the symbol blank because I don't want to have small fonts in the subfunction. I'm going to go down to Function Type and scroll down and find Voice Input. Select that and then OK to confirm. Now that key will detect the swipe left, swipe right, and hold to trigger the voice typing. With that done, now I want to populate the punctuation keys as a function of holding each key to input punctuations. I'm just going to follow the standard layout of a keyboard. You can put in any punctuations you like to fit your needs, but for this demo, I'm just going to follow a standard keyboard's punctuations. Starting with 1, I'm going to go down to Action Hold. For the symbol, make sure the character group is main characters and scroll down until I find the exclamation mark. Now you'll notice there's 2 codes next to it, the /U0021 and also number 33. I want to point these out because some of these punctuations might be hard to find. So if you know these codes, you can just search for them directly. The easiest way is to just search for that 2-digit or 3-digit number on the bottom. So for example, if you wanted this exclamation mark, you can just simply search for 33. But since I'm here anyway, I'm just going to select it from here. Hit OK to confirm. And we can use the default writing of the symbol for this action. Hit OK to confirm. Now we're going to move on to the number 2 key, and that is the @ symbol, commonly used in emails. We're going to go to Action Hold, go into the symbol, and we're going to search by name. And you can scroll around till you can find it on your own, but I'm just showing you a quicker way to do this. Go into the Name tab, and in this app, that punctuation is called a commercial @. You can just type in a partial and it'll show the results. You can see it's the first one. Go ahead, select it, and hit OK to confirm. Hit OK again to confirm. Next is number 3, go to Action Hold, and the punctuation on a regular keyboard is commonly known as the pound sign or the number sign. So we're going to search for that, but we have to clear this search field first. The way this app searches for things, if you search again now with an entry, it's going to search the list that's already shown. So we have to blank it out, hit search so the list is complete, and then search for what we want. And this one is called number sign. Go ahead and pick it and confirm. OK to confirm again. Now for number 4, which is the $sign. And again, clear the search box, search again to reset the list, and then search for $. You'll see that the $sign did show up, but for demonstration purposes, let's search by the number code. So we're going to clear this list and search to reset the list, and then search for number 36. And as you see, it shows up also. Go ahead and select it and accept it, and OK to confirm. Now for number 5, Action Hold. For the symbol, we're going to clear the list and search for %. Accept and confirm. Now number 6, Action Hold. Go to Symbol Entry Box, clear the search field. But this number 6 symbol on the keyboard is a caret, but I don't know how this app labels it. So we're going to just go through the list until we find it. And as you see, it shows up as a circumflex accent, which is number 94. So if you're following this guide, you can just do number 94. Accept it and OK to confirm it. Now number 7, go to Action Hold, Symbol Entry Box. We're going to go into the Name tab, search, make sure the search list is cleared, and search for ampersand. Amper is sufficient. It's the first one there. Accept it and confirm. Now number 8 is the asterisk. Same procedure. Number 9 is the open parentheses. And for the 0 key, I have the closed parentheses. And as you can see for the close parentheses entry, the search from parentheses is still here, so I can just select the close parentheses already on the list. Now we're finally done. And again, you can put in any punctuation or symbol you want to fit your needs. It's just an example of how to design your own keyboard using this app. Now go into the test page, go into one of the text entry boxes and try your keyboard out. Here's long holding the key to enter the punctuations. Swipe left to delete. Swipe right to enter a period and space. Holding that bottom key to trigger the Google Voice typing. I find this app to be great at allowing me to customize my own virtual keyboard, and I can program it to do the things that I needed to do more convenient. If you like this type of thing, I also did a clone of the BlackBerry keyboard on my Minimal phone, and it has multiple pages of numbers and symbols just like the regular BlackBerry Passport's virtual keyboard. It's just an example of how flexible this app is in creating a virtual keyboard for your use.